This segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. At this point, no amount of explaining will suffice. The opposition's holding firm to the argument that the new Ministry of Disaster Preparedness Management and Reconstruction is of no value to hurricane relief efforts. In fact, Progressive Liberal Party leader Philip Davis really sees it as the Prime Minister passing off his primary responsibility to a junior minister. The Prime Minister has appointed Central Grand Bahama MP Iram Lewis, or as the PLP now sees it, the new Dorian whipping boy.
We believe that in a national emergency and crisis, the Prime Minister takes the lead nationally, and he must do his job. Therefore, it is unhelpful for him to pass off his primary responsibility and, by extension, the political fallout, the heat and criticism to a junior minister. It's called passing the buck and insulating himself from criticism and culpability. What administrative infrastructure and institutional capability would another ministry have that does not currently exist? I cannot think of any. We currently have a chief accounting officer who is the permanent secretary. We have the political head who is the prime minister. And we have an entire department fully constituted by an act of parliament dedicated to national emergency management, NEMA.
On the issue of tax concessions under the Special Economic Recovery Zones policy and bonded warehouses, Mr. Davis contends these are only new in name.
All right, the Bahamian people elected us to represent their interests and concerns, and to be the vehicle through which we could design the initiatives and policies to move them to the next level. That has been interrupted by Dorian, and we're best for their voices to be heard than a recall of Parliament. The fact that I recommended he could call Parliament, he doesn't have to listen to me. I made the recommendation. This offhanded and slide remarks, again, this demonstrate how he thinks that he knows the answers for what is happening, and he does not wish to have the assistance of the opposition or anyone else.
The opposition further charged that given the extent of the damage sustained to Grand Bahama businesses, the government upped the allocation to $10 million, to at least $100 million. He ended by stressing the importance of working together. An estimated 1.9 million barrels of crude oil, or 75 million gallons of oil, was spilled from Equinor's oil facility in Grand Bahama. In terms of what's been recovered, 6,000 barrels, or 252,000 gallons of oils, some of which is reusable.
When you talk about the mandatory evacuation, we evacuated residents out of Inagua, Acklands, Crooked Island, when Joaquin was coming. And yes, and it is said it wasn't mandatory, but I think some coercive persuasion, perhaps a better word, coercive persuasion, was used to ensure that they left those areas.
Our final stories are up next.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.